Hello, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. Welcome to another Tuesday Talk, where we talk anything and everything career progression and growth. Today's conversation is an interesting one, how we can use gap analysis, a method from software engineering and software development in networking. So I'm gonna explain it. It's gonna be fun. And if you have been here before with me, welcome back. And if it's the first time, welcome, welcome. I always talk about landing higher profile roles, those who want to do more and do more exciting stuff in their career, and also talking to people that they are currently in C-level positions or executive roles and they are considering transitioning out and doing something more than their 9 to 5. The work that we do with the first group that they want to land higher profile roles is of nature of positioning you as a leader. And the work we do with the second group is to monetize your know-how. And why a girl that her background is technology and business transformation is doing this career coaching is simple. Because throughout my career, I've always seen so many people that they are heart behind the movement or brain behind the solution, but they never get to the top positions. And at the same time, I've seen so many people that they get to the top and you will wonder how. How is that possible? So once you put the judgment aside, there's a lesson there. And I have been studying, researching, observing these people. And as a result of that, everything that I have done, my books, my programs, and all these conversations are to transfer those learnings to you. So today's conversation, doing gap analysis while you're doing networking, is a good investment of your time if you are one of those people that always wondering, what is the next thing for me to learn? How is it that so and so is in that position? Or what is it that they have that that they are there and I am not there yet? So let's just start with the concept. In software delivery, we, in the traditional method, not the agile or new contemporary ways of doing stuff, we used to have a list of requirements from whoever that was commissioning their project, and that list normally was quite comprehensive. We used to spend a fair bit of time to capture those requirements, and normally we used to get client or anyone that is commissioning that to sign it with their blood that these are my requirements. We used to cost it and then go on our happy way to deliver it. At the end of the project, once it was the time for delivery, we used to bring that original requirement and things that has been delivered, and we used to do a gap analysis to see what's been delivered is actually matched for what's been requested at the very beginning. Well, it's very obvious that sometimes there were gaps and that was the beginning of negotiations. And that was the beginning of fun. But I just wanted to borrow that concept and see if we can use that one for you to compare your current skills and your experiences with someone that you look up to or you admire or you would like to get to where they are. And I make a clarification here that we do not need to have someone as our role model to want to copy something that they have or their skills or knowledge. As long as we admire, acknowledge part of what they do and how they do it, that's sufficient for us to be able to approach them, which I'm going to tell you how, and ask them to tell us about their past experiences and basically ask them to unpack their resume for us. Stay with me because it gets fun. Why we want to do this? Of course, everything that I do is about collapsing time to getting to the roles that you want. If something takes 10 years for others, it doesn't need to take you that long to get to it. So by doing this comparison and by bringing awareness to what's needed for you and what other people have, you'll be able to collapse this stuff. As simple as that. The second reason is that once we talk to people and we do this gap analysis, I know it's not a very sexy term, but it's actually really practical. Once we get that understanding of what is it that they have and we don't have, or conversely, what do they have that we also have and we didn't know, it helps us with our confidence. I'm one of those people that always am thinking, okay, that person is doing this one beautifully. How do they do that? What are the ingredients of work that they do? And how can I have it? How can I gain it? How can I download it in my brain or in my way of being if I can? So most of the time when I start unpacking something, I realize, oh, I've actually done something like that. Oh, so it's not that difficult. I have done a version of that. So it helps a lot with not only, number one, collapsing time, but also with your confidence. So it's a very simple practice and exercise is to approach someone and ask them if they're willing to share with you what's basically their past experiences and how they got to where they are, and see what is it missing for you or what is it that you currently have. You might say, but why would people be open to it? Not so many people want to do that. Firstly, you'll be surprised. And I'm going to give you an example of a client in a minute. But what I want to do for you to make it a little bit of easier to be able to lean into it is that when you approach someone in networking events or currently in your network, in your colleagues, past colleagues, bosses, previous bosses that you've had, firstly, I want you to acknowledge something that they are doing well and you've admired, and make sure this is something that is authentic, something that you truly admire in them, so you're not buttering them up. Second one is tell them your intention as why you're doing that and what's the reason behind it and how long it's going to take, so they don't think that they need to do spend a lot of time on that. And the third thing, make sure you give them a way out. If they're not open to it or they don't have time, is okay. So acknowledging something real in your intention and out, giving them a way out if they want to. And that 3 points will allow you to be able to get that coffee or that conversation or that 20 minutes walk that you can have with them or Zoom call to basically get them to talk about their past experiences. Now here is a list of 5 areas that I want you to prompt to be able to have these, do have a good comparison. Number 1 is I want you to ask about the size of companies that they have worked in, all right? If they've worked in small companies, medium-sized scale-ups, or large enterprises. Just know what sort of experiences in what sort of companies they've had. Number 2, I want you to talk about and ask about, make a comparison on industries that they've worked. And this is a critical one. Ask them about the things that possibly is not on their resume or past work experiences on their LinkedIn. Most of the time, people filter out things that are not necessary for their jobs that they're currently in. So when you scroll through their LinkedIn or they look at their resumes, you don't see a lot of work that they have done in the past. Or sometimes the work that they've been doing has been closely working in, for example, insurance, but they have a lot of knowledge about health or about vehicles. So just getting an understanding of what other industries they have worked in will give you a good understanding of how wide you need to look at different industries. If someone is so successful as in the role that they are shining currently, and they have experience in more than 20 industries, and you have only been in 2 industries in one country, well, that tells you the gap. So dig a little bit deeper when it goes to industries. Number 3, I want you to look at and ask about the types of objectives, goals, or success criteria or metrics that they have been delivering. And I know that for a project is very easy, but not everything is a project. So look at the service management success criteria, metrics, and see what are the types that they've had. Sometimes for a service is the uptime that is important. Sometimes is number of clients that we serve. Sometimes that you bring someone on board to improve the quality of a service. Sometimes it's completely transformation, turning something from A to B, before and after. Understanding types of success criteria and what are the things that they've done, achieved, correction. The things that they've achieved will give you an understanding of where you are normally and what are the experiences and expertise that you have to gain. Another thing that I want you to check, and this is very important, this is number 4, is the dynamic of the company in terms of global presence. There's a huge difference between someone that has worked in a global company or a company that someone that is working in a company that is only operating domestically, or a company that is mostly operating domestically, but their clients are internationally, and they might have some satellite sales offices across the world. So knowing where the company, the dynamic of companies, that people that we admire, where they've worked in, and what was that dynamic in terms of global distribution is critical for you to know what is it that your next move and what's the gap in your career currently. And the last thing, which is an interesting question because it will reveal things that you would never know that could be a contributor to your success. Asking directly, what is it that is the key thing to your success, key contributor to your success, that is very simple. I'm going to give you an example. This is actually from my client that asked his network. Excel and knowing how to create an Excel and very quickly be able to play with numbers and create different financial models, even if you are nothing to do in finance or accounting or any of that, is what was one of the things that came up as that is my true contributor to my success. Because not only I know my job, but also I have this extra thing, that this extra skill set, and that has always helped. It turned as a joke and fun thing, but it is true. Sometimes one tiny key skill set becomes that competitive advantage, becomes that your unfair advantage, becomes that little secret sauce that you've got that will help you to win and will help you to basically get to where you want to be, but it's not an obvious thing, all right? It's not an obvious skill set. It's not one of those fancy big words that people would put on their resumes, but it is. And it's your smart to find out what are those little key skill sets that successful people have, and you can collect them. The key thing is, the whole purpose of this conversation today is this. You don't have any problem to learn something, gain something, or acquire something. But knowing what is it that you need to work on is the key thing. Obviously, in this list, I didn't put anything about their education or the size of the teams or any of that, because those are so obvious. You already have those ones. I wanted to give your beautiful minds a different type of exercise so you can get different types of action from these conversations. have another good example of this one. When I first, as part of Executive Elevate, we do this exercise that we need to talk to 10 people in our network and do this gap analysis. Different title, different topic for conversation. But yes, we need to do that. And I have a client that never ever texted me. He always attended all the sessions. He always was sending me emails or things that he needed to work on, homeworks, per se. But he never texted me, though I was available in terms of text and answering quick questions. The only time he sent me a voice message was the time that he said, I contacted 10 people, and of 10, 9 of them said, yes, they will come for a coffee or they will meet me over Zoom, and the other one is not in the country. So it is fascinating to know that people will actually be interested to help you. There are two schools of thoughts. One is that they either love to talk about themselves and unpack their resume and their past experiences, or they genuinely care about contributing to you. Either way, this is what I invite you to do today. Contact a number of people that you admire, the way they operate, how they've got somewhere that you want to be. See if they are open to sit with you to do this work, and also give them a way out if they're not open or it's not the right time for them, and go through the 5 points that I mentioned for you today. See what comes up. And I guarantee you'll be impressed with, oh, I didn't know they have all these experiences, and oh, I didn't know that I have that many of them already in my past experiences. All right, my friend, that is all I wanted to ask you and suggest for you to do if you decide to take an action today. And yes, take advantage of your time before Christmas, because we will be doing a lot of networking, or there will be a lot of Christmas parties, a lot of catch-ups, a lot of things that needs to be closed before the end of the year. And this is the prime time that you can be smart about using it, these conversations and this time of year to progress your career. All right. Have a lovely time. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, different topic, and a new action. Have a lovely day. Bye.